I want to slap that person so bad. You know what I mean? Like, you know myself. That's cringe to me. And so one day they had some camels that got lost. They couldn't find the camels. And again, they noticed that.
As he changed the channel, I got up and I was like trying to like walk to him, like square up. And he was like joking. He's like, you know, I'm going to Russia. And you just go to the airport and like, here's X amount of money. Give me a ticket. I want to leave right now, tonight, next flight. That's what we did. I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. But
Roll Back Home is hands down one of my favorite podcasts.
Islamic reminders and comedy? How does that work?
Dude, 1 minute I'm laughing, the next minute I'm rethinking my whole relationship with Allah.
I usually only listen to lectures, but this is a nice way to relax.
It feels like you're just chilling with your friends and reflecting on the deen.
You actually learn a lot too. It's way more than just jokes.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why I do that. I always hear like a radio host or... Actually, I don't know if I heard anyone do that.
I think we're still trying to find our intro. Like, how do we start trying to find that vibe, that one thing that just clicks? How do we just start?
I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe we sing or something.
Like harmonize.
Yeah, but I felt that was a little
Too much.
glee of us. Yeah, I don't want to seem happy.
High School Musical.
Yeah, that's way too. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
We should just start like, oh my god, man! This is... You watch High School
Right.
Musical?
Oh, I used to love it, man. I was Zac Efron when that was me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we gotta speak about that later.
Yeah, and I was a basketball player. It made sense. And yeah.
Were you dribbling and singing?
I mean, I was doing everything, man. I was the whole package. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hear about that later. Episode 3, season 2, episode 3, childhood and loss, or early child. Actually, no. This one is called The Honest Merchant. Okay, cut that out.
No, don't cut it out. Leave that in there.
That's crazy. Okay, season 2, episode 3, The Honest Merchant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Before we get into the actual discussion, my random topic I want to speak about today is cringe.
Okay.
I was scrolling the YouTubes.
Okay.
And I found this lady who,
thank God,
in my knowledge, she was born and raised in Boston. She's like 1/8 Spanish. Was raised there for a few years, and she moved back to the States. And she's famous. She's married to a very successful actor. And one day decides that she is full-blown Spanish and started to speak in broken English. Now imagine you went to college with this person, studying late nights, for exams, going to lectures, speaking straight up Boston dialect, Boston accent.
Yeah, give me some coffee.
Yeah. Is that Boston?
Coffee. Pizza. Coffee.
Is that Boston?
Water. Yeah. It's like the Jersey accent, kind of,
okay.
but even like almost thicker.
Okay. Oh, they thick out there?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Remind me to visit Boston. I'm joking. So anyways, imagine you go to school with this person, and then one day you scroll on TikTok, and she's
bless you.
She's cooking on TikTok, and she's forgetting basic English words. She was from what I remember this clip, she was like, me and my husband, we like to eat this in what you call onions, and she was born and raised here. Dude. I'm like, dude, that's gotta be so cringy.
Honestly,
dude.
that's not even that cringe to me, bro.
That's not cringe.
I was afraid you were gonna say you found like a video of me on YouTube or something like that when I was younger, doing
what?
Listen.
High School Musical?
No.
you're doing the whole, what do you call it? All the moves like you rehearsed?
Hey, like a little roll.
That's crazy.
Here, whip, boom.
It's actually a problem that you know this still. Anyways, you were saying?
But no, I remember we had like a math class. I believe it was in high school. And we had to partner up and we had to make a rap about an equation. When I see that video, I'm just melt. I want to melt in my seat. It's somewhere. I don't know where.
It's on YouTube though?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh my God, I need this.
I think it's y equals mx plus b. Do you remember that equation?
Oh, that's a formula for a straight line.
Y equals mx plus b, and we had to create a rap. Whew, just seeing, like, everyone here can relate, bro. When you see certain pictures, you know, when you get those memory posts on Facebook or something like that, and then you see how you look, and you're just like,
Ew.
I want to slap that person so bad. You know what I mean? Like, speaking of myself, that's cringe to me.
I mean, no, it's not cringe because at the time it was
Probably because you was cute. You probably had some chubby cheeks.
No, bro. There was I got anorexic, and at some point I'm just like, Lord have mercy, give this.
You really represent a Somalia.
Yeah, I was like, give this boy a protein bar.
I'm
or
captain now.
Yeah, no, that it was bad. At some point, I went from like fat to just like, oh, what happened? Is he sick? Yeah, but and he was. Anyways, but that's your cringiest thing. That's it.
Yeah, I think so.
And okay, I when I outline cringe, I mean you don't get to say it's cringe if at the time it wasn't cringe. Meaning, look, spiky hair now is like cringe, or you still like beat women, right? Those are the two. And you drink Mountain Dew, right? But
wait, hold on.
What?
What's wrong with Mountain Dew? Is it a good thing or a bad thing you're saying?
Oh, it's like the drink for like domestic violence. That's their beverage of choice. 100%.
I'm just trying to reflect on my marriage right now because I love Mountain Dew.
God be with you all. But yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, but spiky hair back when you was like 15 was cool then, so you don't get to say it's cringe. I'm saying,
get it. Okay,
something that was cringe in the moment, it was still cringe. You got anything for me?
No, I'm gonna have to think about that one. What about you?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I traveled to San Diego, and I was trying to get my Somali passport. Okay, and so basically Washington D.C., that's where the embassy is. They usually send, I don't know if you call it delegation, or they send people that work for the embassy to places that have a large group of that ethnic group. So the Somali embassy would send a bunch of people who work for the embassy to Minnesota, so that way every Somali in Minnesota doesn't have to travel to Washington D.C. to get a passport, to get the services from the embassy. So one of the states they traveled to, California, and they went to San Diego. And so I live in Sacramento. Instead of flying all the way to Washington D.C., I just flew to San Diego. I literally booked a Spirit Airlines trip and a Frontier trip back. Oh, wow. The worst airlines. But I only booked it because it's like 56. So it's a bus in the air. Like, it's it's literally a flying bus, dude. It's terrible, right? Like, we get there, and I fly back 4 hours later. But that's
that fast?
Yeah, I just went there to get the passport. I flew back.
Oh, wow.
I didn't want to spend money on a hotel.
Okay.
It sounds cool that I was in the city for a day. I came back, but no, I was just cheap. I don't spend money on an airplane, on a hotel. So I get there and I go do my passport stuff, and I'm filling it all out. And the people there are like looking at me weird, and I'm like, okay, I you know when you know that someone knows you from somewhere, they have this thing in their eyes where they're just like kind of like. I don't know if I should say it. And at one point, after like 5-6 people, one guy goes, "Yo, I think I know you, bro. You do videos?" And then the rest of them were just like, "Yeah." Like they got like brave enough to say, "Hey,
the people who are working there?"
Yeah. Oh. They're like, "Yeah, we know you from TikTok."
No way.
And then I ended up taking a photo for their newsletter.
Oh, what?
Which is crazy. Like, it was a small world. And I'm like, I like meeting people. So if they say, "Hey, I like your videos," I'm like, "Yeah, alhamdulillah. Like, nice. How you doing? What's your name?" You know. So the fact that they said that was cool. And then they mentioned, "Hey, are you also here to see the Somali ambassador?" I'm like, "What? No, I'm here to make a passport because I'm trying to go to Hajj." Like, and they're like, "Oh, because he's gonna be in the next room in like 40 minutes." And I'm like, they're like, "You wanna have a meeting with him?" I'm like, "I guess I got nothing to do. I gotta wait for my flight." So I get there and I'm sitting down in a meeting with a Somali investor and all these community leaders, and they went around the table all talking about, "Hey, you know, I'm ahead of this. I'm ahead of this community. I do this. I'm in the educational field." And then I was like, "Hi." I was like, I got a podcast, and you know, I make people laugh sometimes, and you know, and whatever. It was just awkward. And then subhanAllah, at the end of it, I'm saying bye to everyone because I gotta go to the airport. And one of my boys was like, "Yo, you want me to take a picture with you and the ambassador?" And I didn't even think to take a picture with him. And I'm like, I don't care for the photo, but I feel like maybe my dad would think it's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So I took a photo so I could send it to him. So I took the whole photo, Somali flag in the back, the United States flag in the back.
Yeah.
And then this is where it all goes bad.
Oh, man.
Dude, he shakes my hand, right?
Oh,
and he
God.
goes, Safir Salam.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
No.
Safir? Travel?
Safir travel, yeah.
Yeah, Salam.
Okay.
Meaning?
Travel safe. Safe travels.
Safe travels.
Yeah.
I know what this means.
Oh my gosh. What did you say? Wa alaikum
I
assalam.
He said Safir Salam. I said wa alaikum salam. And he didn't let go of my hand. Dude. He just kept. He's like, what?
He was trying to say, this is the comedian side of you, my brother.
He said, what do you say? I was like, let go. I'm trying to dip. Like, when I embarrass myself, I need a clean exit.
Did you, like, as soon as you said it, did you realize it? Or you didn't
No,
realize?
I knew. Listen, I knew 2 seconds before I said it. I was like, but it was
You
already
still couldn't avoid
it was
it.
loaded. I was like, this is going. It's coming out. And he goes, I was like, wow, there it comes. Oh, dude, if he just let go, I would have just made it to the door quickly. But it was like he held it. And the funny thing is, as he held it, he goes, another brother was like, what did you say? And I was like, wa alaikum salam. He goes, what did he say? Like making sure that we both understood like that you just did what you just did. I'm like, he said Safir Salam. He goes, you know what that means? And I'm like, safe travels. He goes, oh, so you do know what it means. And I'm like, yeah. And there was a pause. He goes, so why the hell you said why the hell you said wa alaikum salam? I'm like, I didn't know how to reply to that, brother. But thank you. And so I just put my shoes on and left. That was the cringiest.
Oh, that's
And this
funny.
was December. So this is a month ago.
Yeah.
This
That's
is,
funny. That's funny. I want to see the picture.
Yeah, I'll show you the picture. But it was but the picture was before it happened. So
Yeah.
you there's no pain there.
Right. No,
Yeah,
I'm just. I just
paint-
want to see how the ambassador of Somalia looks.
Okay, yeah.
He's bald, isn't he?
No.
Oh wow. Okay. I see.
Getting there. I think he's getting there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know. I just
Anyways.
imagine a bald, like African, 6'1", maybe.
I would
little
say
bit.
6'2".
Okay. See,
Pretty skinny.
full like
Slim guy.
complete suit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know.
A little. I feel like as an ambassador, he definitely had a little bit of weight to him.
Nope.
Skinny.
Yep.
Oh dang. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. They don't even. I guess their ambassadors don't get
And then
paid that
also-
well out there.
That's crazy, first of all.
What?
That's ambassadors not being paid. Well, that's insane to say.
You said he's skinny.
Okay, what's that mean?
All right.
What's that
Maybe
mean?
I'm reading too much into it. I'm just.
Yeah, you are.
All right.
That's wild.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. That's probably why they let you meet him. It probably means nothing to Somalia.
Dude, this is crazy. You are so you know what?
Hey,
I was gonna
let him
say
know.
I'm gonna say something right now,
Huh?
but it only makes me look bad.
Okay.
I was like, yo, where your ambassador?
Hey.
Right? But
Listen, brother.
yeah. So
Oh.
anyways, yeah, man, I had to take the L on that. And yeah, so that's my cringiest moment.
Yeah, I haven't thought of one,
Okay.
but that was funny.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Uh,
So I wanted to start the pod. We're talking about the honest merchant. That's what it's called today. So yeah, basically, this is more of stories of the Prophet ﷺ in his youth.
Yeah, it's a bit older now.
Yeah. I don't want to guesstimate the age, but we will say that he was young enough to not have actually participated in a war fully, but old enough to have remembered it.
Yeah, I mean, they say it was between the ages of 15 and 18, but like the more likely is he was 15 because
or younger, because 15 they don't let you younger than 15 they don't let you participate.
yeah. So probably 15, most likely.
Okay, and so there was a war that broke out.
There's a war that broke out, and this is just to kind of like highlight the courage of the Prophet ﷺ, right?
Courage.
At that age. During that war that was happening, essentially the reason they even got into that war was there was two other tribes that were rivaling, right? And one of them had killed a member of another tribe. The other tribe retaliated, but out of sheer anger and wanting to take revenge, they started to kill in the sanctity of the haram. And then the heads of Quraysh were just like, that is not happening. Like at first, yes, you guys had a right to want to seek revenge. You've taken it too far. You guys are both wrong. We're putting an end to this. So they got into it to essentially de-escalate to show by showing their might. And so the Prophet ﷺ was on the field collecting arrows because arrows can be reused in certain cases. And so the Prophet ﷺ remembers that time. He depicted, I was saying that he remembers that war taking place, and him going around picking up arrows and giving it back to kind of the
archers.
Yeah, the archers. So,
and I remember, listening to this, and his uncle.
Abu Talib.
Was his uncle or his grandfather that he was
likely his
allowed him to participate?
His uncle, likely his uncle.
Okay, so he would say that I noticed that like every time he was involved,
oh yes,
that they would sort of make more ground or take more ground, and then every time he wasn't there for that day or for whatever,
yeah,
they would suffer more losses.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
So he was like, I swear you're not leaving my side.
Yeah. SubhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ was just blessed, man. Like like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was taking care of him. And even before that, when he was younger, maybe 10, 11, who knows, like around that age, right? Again, he was so beloved to his grandfather Abdul Muttalib and his uncle Abu Talib that they were really protective of him. Okay? And so one day, they had some camels that got lost. They couldn't find the camels. And again, they noticed that anything the Prophet ﷺ did, he succeeded in as a young child. Like whatever he was tasked to do, it just worked out all the time. So they're like, okay, man, like these camels are valuable. Like we need to find our camels. So they, it wasn't Abu Talib or his grandfather, but his other uncles, right? That were his half uncles, sent him and told him, go look for the camels. Just go look for the camels. Knowing that he's going to be successful in finding the camels, right? And when his grandfather and his uncle found out, they were upset because nightfall and he still hadn't returned. And alhamdulillah, he actually did end up finding them and came back with essentially the camels. Yeah.
SubhanAllah. Yeah, what a blessing.
But question for you that I would pose is, are you picking up arrows at 15?
Because my question to you was, would you do this outside of deen? Because this is prior to revelation. This is prior to... He did this strictly out of just justice.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you take deen out of it,
I see where you're going.
and you're just doing it for quote-unquote justice...
Yeah.
Forget arrows. I'm not getting out my car. I'm not getting out my car for just justice. You know what I mean? Like, that's too... Like, you know what I mean? Like for me to stake my life on something, it has to be deen related. Has to be. There's nothing more.
You got no morals. You ain't got no backbone, spine.
Where's this accent coming from? And I want it gone with the attitude.
Sleazy.
But you know what I mean? Like, if it's deen related, I get it. But if you're telling me, yo, this guy he stole your car, I'm like, all right, I owe you one, but I got a family. I'm going back.
No, but I would think of it as like
out here trying to.
I get it,
I'm not trying to be Batman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry your car got stolen. You know, even if you stole my car, I'm not trying to get myself killed over this. Even though I have a right to, I know I got things I got to take care of back at the house. So it's just stupid to me, right?
Yeah.
But if it's deen related,
you could just say, "I'm a coward."
I felt like that was too short. You know what I mean? I felt like I needed to expand on this a little bit.
If people kind of read into it, they can interpret it as they like.
I don't mind grabbing the arrows after y'all are done. Okay. I say, hey, I found another one. You know, but damn, they still flying? No chance. You know, no, yeah, I'm gonna, I hide behind this rock.
No, I feel you, but I do believe like it kind of has to do with, again, the way a person is raised,
for sure,
the morals that they kind of are instilled into them. Because think about it, there's so many people who are not Muslim, but they have these grounding moral values. So the reality is, even if you weren't Muslim, you were something. You still did believe in a God, and you were being instilled with certain ethics.
Yeah, you have some sense of justice, right?
So I feel like even if you weren't Muslim, I do believe that the way you would have been raised, you would have been on that field, I think. Because certain morals and values would have been instilled in you. They
Yeah,
wouldn't be
if I was-
Islamic, right? But you would have believed in whatever you were believing in.
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Another question for you: Have you ever gone too far in a rebuttal?
In a rebuttal or like an argument?
Or the same thing, right? Like rebuttal, like it could be someone said something and you said something crazy to them, and you're like, "Damn, that's too far." Or say they did something and you did something back.
Yeah. I've had like,
Minus the road rage.
yeah, no. Well,
I remember just so if people didn't see season 1, he has crazy road rage.
had past tense.
Had?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you cut him off, he will throw pennies at your car.
Listen, brother, if you're in need of some change,
Yeah.
come brake check me.
Crazy. Insane. I was like, dude, he got a whole $5,000 here. just, yeah, had the highway looking like Super Mario Kart with all them pennies out there. But yeah, you ever went too far in a rebuttal?
Yes.
You wanna tell me about it? No names, but you can tell me.
No, I mean, many times I was as a child, and even now sometimes I get into those phases. But alhamdulillah, I'm way better now than when I was younger. I was very argumentative as a child, very argumentative, and it wasn't necessarily that I was right or wrong. It was I believed in something very heavily, and I believed that was the truth, and I'm going to let you know that that's what I believe.
I see.
So in those moments that I'm arguing, it's not just because I want to argue. It's because I genuinely believe you did something wrong or you are wrong.
Yeah.
I may have been right, I may have been wrong, but right, like given the knowledge that I had then, given the understanding that I had then, no, what you just did was wrong. An example of that is when I was, I think, in 6th grade, and my teacher had said something to one of my classmates or something like that, and I felt like, yo, who do you think you are?
The teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, you said this is a teacher?
In my head, I was thinking, who do you think you are to say that? And then went off on the teacher.
So you actually said out loud?
Oh, yeah. I went off on the teacher. I don't know if I said, who do you think you are? But I'm sure that's what I was thinking in my head, which is what caused me to go off. And I don't remember what I said. But I was just like, going, and then she's like, oh, you know, who are you? I'm the teacher. Go back and forth, back. Got loud. I started yelling.
Oh, you were like that guy who goes, if you want to teach kids, you got to come in here and teach. Don't just hand them a packet. You know that guy?
Oh, yeah. No,
you?
but that guy was very eloquent and
Yeah.
articulate. I was
you were
not that.
No more, please. Stop. That's you.
Keep going.
No, that's,
Shush.
yeah. Okay. That's his mom. Okay. You
Yeah.
know, so you
I had to go
yelled
to the
some words.
principal's office and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. Rebel.
And then one time I got into an argument with my friend.
Past tense or?
No, he's still my friend.
Okay.
But I remember this vividly because, again, in the moment, something happens, but I'm very quick to apologize. Like, I recognize when I'm wrong, and I have no problem apologizing. Even if it's 5 seconds later, the moment I realize I'm wrong, I will apologize.
Okay.
And so in this moment, I forgot what had happened, but I had just punched him.
This is
It was a fight. It was a fight. Essentially, it was like an argument, and it escalated super quickly, and then I just hit him. And then I just felt like crap afterwards because I loved him, right? And I still do. Like, I genuinely, like, there's certain people that you grew up with, and you've always looked at them as like younger brothers or just as brothers. He was one of them. But yeah,
So you initiated the first contact?
probably. I don't remember exactly. I just remember
'Cause if
regretting
you-
hitting him. I just remember regretting hitting him because, yeah.
Yeah, because if you did, then it would be like a regretful rebuttal. But if you got hit, then that
True.
rebuttal would
Yeah,
be
so maybe that's why. Maybe I felt like it was unnecessary. I didn't need to do that, and I did.
I feel that.
Because again,
So
I don't remember the details. So I'm trying to kind of remember why, but I do 100% remember punching him and regretting it.
Okay. Yeah. You know, it's funny thing is like the same with me. Like the biggest. I'm sure I have more, but like, and I'm so much better at it right now. Like, especially when I'm in the space of work, I know when it's smart not to burn a bridge. Like, I'm gonna take whatever that person said.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me, man. I'm
Does it
still
make
learning
sense?
it.
Especially in the comedy world.
Yeah.
You get disrespected so much. But then if you just don't reply, you just don't, go into it, you wait 4 years later,
Yeah.
you end up working with some people that may have like disrespected you, and because you didn't react on instinct,
Yeah.
you get this opportunity later down the road. Now, I'm not saying that you just sit there and let anything
Right,
slide,
right,
but I'm
right,
saying
right.
some things are just like, okay, make an excuse for that person because
Yeah.
maybe they didn't mean it that way,
Right.
right? But usually, I was like, no, you definitely meant it that way, and
Mm.
so I mean, for me, similar to you, like I was a cousin of mine, and I think he changed the channel, and I clacked him just right to the chin, and he thought we were joking because as soon as he changed the channel, I got up and I was like trying to like walk to him like square up, and he was like joking. He's like you know, and then I just went, and as soon as I connected, he was like we're not playing anymore. What did you just do? And like he just left. He just left the house, and I remember feeling so guilty. But subhanAllah, like I knew I was gonna punch him, and I knew it was a bad idea. But sometimes, like your mind already made up what to do. I couldn't go back on that. Like it was ready. Like
Yeah,
I was in the market for a right, like just throwing rights. I didn't care who was buying. Like it was somebody was gonna get this because I was gonna dish it out for whatever reason. And it's kind of like the guilt. I still remember the face drop, like the way he looked at me. He was just like, because I've never hit him. Like, and we were boys, you know? Still are, but you know, obviously moved. That guilt, bro, subhanAllah.
Dude, I've done so many things, subhanAllah, growing up, and this is something that I've noticed too. I've done so many things that I regret. It's just, wallahi, just a laundry list of things.
Like that shirt, right?
What shirt? This shirt? A'udhu billah. Look at you looking like a whole Christmas tree.
You talking about Christmas, brother?
look at
You and
brother.
I was gonna say pink, but you probably call it salmon.
I call this maroon.
Maroon, then you colorblind, my brother.
Maybe.
You thought that
My
was
wife
maroon?
might not disagree. I forgot how maroon is actually.
That's okay.
But anyway, I got a lot of regrets.
Okay.
Maybe one of them is talking to you right now, standing on this chair. We'll see in 5 years from now.
Okay.
All right. But a laundry list of regrets. Sometimes, actually, not sometimes. I have noticed this. You want to know why? I remember a regret for years weighing me down. Because I felt so bad. I know I did this person dirty. I know I did. And I couldn't get over it. I'm talking about like crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me for certain, like just.
Was it not an option? Sorry, was it not an option to hit this person up?
It was. So eventually I did. But it was almost like, how can I can't even, I don't even see how this person's capable of forgiving me. Okay? Just hold up. We ain't getting into the details, all right? We ain't getting into the details, all right, brother?
I need to know. Okay.
All right? I hit this person up, and it seemed like it was not even a chip on the shoulder, as if it did not even affect them. Like, I thought that I had almost crumbled this person's world. And again, you're young, right? Like, you don't know now at 30 compared to me when I was 15, 16, 17, 18. Everything is different, right? The world's different. And what has value and what doesn't have value is different. Point is, come to find out that this thing that was weighing so heavily on me, and I thought why it was weighing so heavily on me is because I assumed it was weighing so heavily on them. On them. Come to find out, he's living an amazing, perfect life. He's doing it but my mind took it somewhere else. My mind made, and all this to say is like sometimes even this laundry list of regret, do not let it weigh you down. If you made peace with, number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then number two, like you were saying, just hit that person up right away. Just hit them up. Don't wait 2-3 years if you're thinking about that person. If you think you did them dirty, regardless of how heavy or how much you think they're not going to forgive you, just call them and apologize. And you might realize that actually you had to do that just to forgive yourself. You know what I mean? And subhanAllah, ever since then, wow, the burden that was lifted off of my shoulders, I was like, I can't believe I was living with that for 2-3 years. It was wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
So since it's over, can I ask what?
Heck no, brother.
Okay. We'll move on, inshallah. But there's a second point that we wanted to get touch on today, and that is
And I'll tell you why. There are certain things that I believe, obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects us. You know, He is a sattar, like He protects our sins, and we shouldn't.
What does that name mean?
A sattar is like who covers,
Okay.
right? And like, subhanallah, even some top scholars in the Muslim ummah would say, had my sins had a smell, you would be miles away from me. Naturally, everyone wants to ask the scholar of the ummah, what did you do? But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is that they committed a sin that is a crazy sin that people think is crazy. But sometimes it's just again, don't look at the sin, but who you're sinning against. That in and of itself, to some people, has so much weight, right? But again, I was gonna say, like, for anyone listening or watching, don't be quick to, or don't rush to expose your past sins before you really think about it and why you are. Like, what type of benefit is there going to be by you talking about that sin?
Oh, is this you telling me to stop asking?
Using it as a you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I stopped asking. You ain't got to give me a lecture about it. You know what I'm saying?
Alright.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate that. Yeah.
No, it's more so for people because I notice that it's a thing. I notice it's a thing with like youngsters where they openly talk about their jahiliyyah days, with no necessary benefit that's coming from it. Like, there's some scholars who did talk about that, but there's some scholars who were drunkards. There's some scholars and they talked about the difficulties that they were going through. But again, why? It's always just ask yourself why you're going to be bringing this up and what's the benefit that's going to come out of it. So I just essentially, anyone listening, just don't be quick to just talk about all your sins like nothing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Next step in the Prophet Prophet's life that at least we decided to touch on was his work in trade, trustworthy in trade.
Yeah.
He had some nicknames. Correct?
Yeah, Al-Amin, the trustworthy one, and that was again before he was a prophet. Before he was a prophet.
This whole season, by the way, is just gonna be prior to prophethood.
Yeah, true. Yeah, prior to prophethood. People would leave belongings with him. People would leave their money with him. People would, there was no banking system back then.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no banks, there's no safes. People, when they traveled, they would leave him their gold and all their valuables. And okay.
Yeah. And that whole experience and developing that relationship was all credibility, as to say, when he does say that he is the prophet of Allah, now what? I mean, he's the most trustworthy in your community.
Yeah.
So you can't say he's not, because you've been saying he is, and you've been showing it for the last 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? SubhanAllah. So it's like,
you think he flipped a switch at 40 and just was like, you know what?
Right.
I'm just gonna lie today.
And SubhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ was so wise, and I am gonna jump a little bit to foreshadow, is to say, when the Prophet ﷺ, before he revealed he was a prophet, he did it in a very wise way. He told them, he gathered all of them and said, hey, if I told you that behind these mountains, no one sees what's behind them, there's an army that's coming, would you believe me? They all said yes. I want to let you know that I'm the prophet of Allah. And then all of a sudden, no one wants to believe him, right? So he kind of set the stage, subhanAllah. But again, it also goes to show that if you're trying to make a change within your community, right, you need to be involved in your community.
And you need to have some sort of status in your community, no?
Whether Muslim or non-Muslim. Think about it.
And reputation. I mean, when I said status, I meant reputation.
Yeah. It matters to a certain extent, right? Like, you shouldn't be doing it just for the people. No, that's not how it works. But there's cause and effect. If you do these things in community, if you do these things in society, it's either going to be detrimental to reputation or it's going to be good for your reputation.
I also very much respect the people who have been involved in voluntary work for longer, making certain calls. I don't like the person who just volunteered today to suddenly want a leadership position.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that makes sense. Like I mean, out of goodness of the heart, they're here.
Right.
volunteering, but why are you going straight to the member?
Right.
Like, you want to volunteer, you can start with the broom.
Mm,
You know, you if that's what you want, right?
Right.
Like, you're going to get rewarded for your time
mm,
and for your effort. You don't need to go straight into giving, addressing the whole community because you woke up feeling generous today,
yeah,
right? You're
yeah.
not equipped for that, and plus the community don't know you like that.
That's true.
Right.
There is, and that's a good point, honestly, because there's so many youth out there. Again, for those that are listening,
Mm.
that they're getting on their deen, and they now have this zeal to want to give back, right? Because all of a sudden they've had this like awakening, this
Yep,
of revival of the deen and so on, and it's to say like, look, there's still a process. You need to do that process justice.
Mhm.
Just like you're gonna do that with schooling or a job, like you're gonna become a cop, for example, or you're gonna become an engineer. There's entry level position. It doesn't matter that all of a sudden you're so passionate about being an engineer, whereas you weren't before.
Yeah.
There is still a process for you to become a lead engineer, a senior engineer, and so on and so forth.
It's I mean, an easier example would be like, okay, you felt like working out today. You don't go straight for the heaviest thing you've seen someone do.
Or assume you're all of a sudden a trainer.
Oh yeah, exactly. yeah. Or just start bit by bit and you get there. And even there was a sunnah to not like sort of burn out too soon, right? And Allah's favorite deeds are what?
Those that are small but consistent.
Small and consistent.
Yeah, the Prophet ﷺ said, "There's no one who takes on too much of the deen except that they break, like they fall under.
They get overwhelmed.
They get overwhelmed. That's a better So for those, and I think I went through that. I think a lot of people go through that phase though. Like, have you ever gone through a phase of
burnout?
No, extremism
In what sense?
in Islam? Like,
hey, buddy. We're still recording here, buddy. I knew I didn't trust that shirt. I knew there was a wire under there. Extremism in terms of like just being super strict.
Yeah, like being very strict. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how strict. I mean, to me, it was just more so like to the freaking T, like but definitely burnt out. And then also, it wasn't so much as me being strict, which was a bad thing. It was the fact that I didn't understand that there was caveats.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't understand that there was actual some wiggle room there. I was just more like, no, this is the way it has to be.
Exactly.
You don't understand. I was like, oh, actually, no, there's actually different schools of thought here.
Yeah.
Oh, there's actually a wise way to approach this or do this, and that's why these people decide to do this. So yeah.
Yeah, no, because I went through that phase of that, and that's what I mean by extremism, by the way, which is like this sense that your way is the way and the only way. That's extreme.
Yeah.
Right. So I went through that phase where I was like, no, like, and I did my best not to be judgmental. I hope I was never or came off as like judging people who didn't. But maybe I did. I don't know. But I definitely would be very vocal about saying, oh, hey, like, this is what I learned, and this is how you should be doing it. And again, not understanding the nuance and subhanAllah, the depth and beauty of Islam and what it has to offer.
You were telling old men at the masjid to stand up when they pray.
Imagine, that'd be
Stand
crazy.
up. That's what.
Just pull the chair as he's trying to sit down. Like, come on now.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, and so the Prophet ﷺ, just to get back to him being in the trade world, he didn't start there, right? He started as a shepherd.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, he would people would give him their flock, pay him. He would go out, let them graze, take care of their flock, etc., and then bring them back.
Yeah.
And they trusted him. He didn't steal anything. He didn't take anything. He didn't, do them dirty. I mean, if you have like 50, 60, no one's going to notice if you took some milk or you did this. So the fact that he came back every single time with everything intact was, subhanAllah, nothing short of like, I don't know how to say this, but I'll just do a salute. That's wild, because I mean, that's a lot to entrust with somebody, right? Especially a young person.
Do you remember the YouTube video of I think it was in Saudi, and these guys were driving and they saw a shepherd?
Yes. And they asked him for one.
Yes.
And he was like, I swear by.
And they offered him a ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said no. I remember this.
Yeah, he said no, and they're like, why? He's like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
he was so God conscious that he's like, it doesn't matter what you offer me. It doesn't matter the amount. Million. I'm not giving you anything. I'm
not mine.
entrusted.
It's not mine
subhanallah.
to sell. Yeah.
These people exist, man. That they have this sense of, because, and you know what they told him? Why? Just sell it to us. We'll give you $1 million, or we'll give you X amount, whatever, and you can go buy another one and you can pocket the rest.
Yeah.
Any one of us would have justified that. You know what? I'll take the money. I'll sell that one. Man, I'll give him 50 back. I'll buy 50.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm gonna give you 3, brother.
You know what I'm saying? But subhanallah, it's like, no, it's not my right to sell it to begin with. And man, if we were that principled and didn't look for every way out or loopholes, it would be a different thing. And what is the wisdom behind the Prophet ﷺ being a shepherd too? Is they say that sheep, they all have different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And they, like when you begin to work as a shepherd, you begin to realize that. You begin to realize, oh, this sheep constantly wanders this way. This one does this one does. So
this one's stubborn. This one actually listens.
And you treat them differently, right? And sheep naturally just want to go like separate. And as a shepherd, what are you trying to do? You're trying to keep them together in line, right? And so it's again teaching the Prophet ﷺ, like, even when you're dealing with people and an ummah, he doesn't know he's going to be leading an ummah, subhanAllah. But there's a way, and it's very difficult, but you have to try to keep them within this line, within this framework of love and deen and connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And is it all of the prophets, or just, if not most of the prophets were shepherds?
I believe at one point every single one was.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
From what I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, subhanAllah, it's actually funny enough, he was entrusted with Khadija, his first wife's older sister's flock. That's how she heard of him. So when he did so, he came back and the word got spread. They're sisters, they talk.
Yeah.
And so she was
sister.
Like, oh,
is it because they're sisters?
What do you mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they're sisters.
Yeah.
So they spoke, and then she's like, well, let me see if I can get him to work for me, right? Because I have a trades. She sells goods back and forth. Trade route. And the people that she used to hire back in the day would be people who it was based on a percentage. So, hey, you take this caravan, whatever you sell, you keep 10%, bring back the 90 from. But they can tell you that they sold less. They can tell you that they sold less so they can keep a higher amount, whatever. They can pocket the difference.
Yeah.
But so she was like, I need someone who I trust. And so that's how he did. And subhanAllah, he always came back with more.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because he was trustworthy and didn't pocket anything, but also because he's blessed and he sold more, right? So, I mean, that's kind of how, small world. You never know who's, not to say to do good things because good things might happen for you, but that also happens.
Exactly. Like, sometimes it's difficult to try to get out of that mindset, but it's also sometimes the reality. So trying to find a balance between, hey, sometimes you might do good, and yeah, you will get good, and sometimes you might do good, and then you might get dealt a quote unquote a bad hand.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't do good anymore, right?
100%.
So it is sometimes difficult though to find that balance of saying, oh, I'm not just doing this good so I can get good, because naturally it's like
you want that.
Yeah. And sometimes that is the case, and it works out that way.
Yeah.
But just not to have that as the default all the time.
You ever get gypped like that?
Say that again?
Like scammed or gypped or like
in general?
Yeah.
I did, but thanks to eBay's guarantee, I got my money back.
Dude, I get mad all the time, but I got scammed in Turkey, brother. I think I told you about this.
I'm trying to remember.
I'm not gonna mention any, because I hate when people mention like ethnicities up front, because then people are just like, "Oh, you mean all of us are like that?" So I'm gonna take it.
I already know the ethnicity. You said Turkey. If they ain't Turkish, then we know who they are.
No, they're not Turkish and they're not Syrian.
Ooh, okay.
Not, yeah, it was another person who just so maybe happened to be there on vacation. Doubt it, but it seemed like they lived there. Anyways, long story short, I'll tell you this: we went for Umrah, my wife and I. Right?
Yeah.
Actually, you were there too.
Yeah.
We went with the whole group. We get back and Turkey's our stop. We lose Either
Oh, man.
one of the bags got stolen or what have you. So my wife's paperwork is in there. So we get the gate. We get to the gate, and he's like, "Sir, you can travel." Because me and her are like also talking to this guy. I'm like, "Yo, like let us on. Like we don't have to." Da, da, da. We're showing all these other things. Like, okay, maybe we lost this, but we need to get on this flight. Da, da, da. He's like, and so he's looking at me like giving him a little bit of a hard time. He's like, "Sir, you can go. She can't."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "What are you saying? You're saying that I'm just gonna dip? Like you?"
Yeah.
I'm having this discussion with you because we're both getting on this plane or we're both not getting on this plane. Anyways, that turns into 12 days in Turkey.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. Spent over $5,000. 12 days.
Living life.
Just have to, because all our bags went to San Francisco. We have, obviously we don't have a place to stay, so we're eating out every day. We got to buy some clothes, travel. We got work with the USMC, paying all these fines, expedited fines, try to get out of here. And at some point, after like the fourth day, when we could have done everything we did, we just try to enjoy the day.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We're here, just whatever. We were treated like crap, for a long time. So every time we tried to get help, we went to a police station, we did this, we just got all these things. And people like just like didn't even look up from their phones and computers. They just didn't care. So anyways, we get back to the airport, and I did one of my stupid dreams I always thought was so cool, which is to go to the airport to buy a ticket and fly right there. I always thought that was dope. It's kind of like buying a car off the lot.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want that one, brand new, 0 miles. You know what I'm saying? It was always like, felt cool because we always, get used cars and live their life. Oh, we're traveling this summer. I'm book it in January. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how we work. It's a smarter way. I always thought like, yo, imagine just being like, you know what? I'm going to Russia. And you just go to the airport and you're like, here's X amount of money. Give me a ticket. I want to leave right now, tonight, next flight. That's what we did. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. But anyways.
That's where the 3,000 out of 5,000 went.
I can't remember. It was like
that ticket must have been hella expensive.
It was pretty expensive, yeah.
Same day tickets is crazy.
Same day. Dude, I think it was within 2 hours.
Wow.
So it was like they knew we needed that, So anyways, we get past the board, we get past security, and we see a guy, and he's got a jacket on.
So now at this point, everything is good. You bought the ticket.
Yeah, we're good. We're going.
Right.
Yeah, everything is scanned the tickets. This I'll tell you. We found a guy who was stuck there. He didn't have enough money to travel. Now, mind you, he's at the gates.
Right.
Meaning he must have had a ticket and a boarding pass to have gone in.
Right.
So being stuck there wasn't hard to believe. If you're outside the airport saying, man, I lost my ticket, boy, I get you,
Right.
You're there. So his scam must have been that he bought a ticket, got in, started asking for money, and then, refunded.
The amount of money he gets is worth that.
More than the ticket. So he would have gone home with the difference, right? I didn't think like this. I'm thinking, dude, Allah just took me out of a hellhole in terms of like money. I just spent $5,000, $6,000, whatever $1,000 in 12 days just to stay afloat. If this brother's going through that, I need to help him.
Yeah.
So I get there, and basically he's speaking. I somehow get to know what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he basically said, I need X amount of money. And subhanAllah, he was wearing a puffer jacket on top of some other jacket.
Yeah.
So he was it looks like he was freezing, and it was raining outside. And he stunk.
Oh man.
This is someone with BO through a puffer jacket. Brother, you got BO, that's one thing. BO through a puffer jacket is insane, BO. You know what I'm saying? Like, it through you know how much air is trapped in there? You got through that? That's insane to me. So I'm thinking he's been here for a while. He needs my help. I got you.
Yeah.
Ask me for some help. I'm like, you know what? Allah just helped me. I got to help this guy.
Yeah.
So we go over there. He changes the amount slightly. As we get there, I'm like, he didn't ask me for as much as he's asking now, like 20 minutes ago.
He's asking for more.
A little bit more. And I'm wondering why. I'm like, maybe he needs this amount, but he was willing to ask 2 people.
Right.
And he only asked me for a little bit of it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get more accurate. I'm going to just give him this spot. We go to an ATM. We run over to an ATM because he's trying to get, long story short, I give him some money. And by the way, he was meant to fly to Sacramento, apparently, where we're going. San Francisco, sorry, where we were going. And he takes down my number. He's like, we're going to call you when we get there. I'm going to make sure I'll give you anything. Like, I promise you my mother's jewelry. If I don't give this back, guy's lying out his teeth. But I don't know this at the time. I don't know this at the time. I'm thinking at least part of the money I'm thinking is going to be Sadakat. The other part, I'm like, maybe if he pays back part of it, because I'm not exactly in the best position, whatever. This guy takes it, and I told him, I trust you with this. Just skedaddles. Skips. Leaves the customs. Leaves that. Cause he was supposed to go buy another ticket. Never heard of Broski again. Just got scammed like that, bro.
How do you know he wasn't going to buy a ticket?
I don't think you need to wave down a taxi to buy a ticket, brother.
No way.
Boy went straight out there.
That's crazy.
And he knows I'm not going to go because I got a flight to catch in 15 minutes. I'm not missing another one, man.
Yeah, honestly, it's not that far-fetched to assume, again, unfortunate, but back home, even Turkey, right? That even the guards, whatever, they're all in on it. For example, like, it's not far-fetched to say that they can let people back in.
You're on some conspiracy stuff right now, brother.
No. You just think about it. Like, typically when scams go down, it's usually a group of people.
Yeah, like pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
Those are the funniest. You ever listen to a pyramid scheme like lecture?
Bro, I've had
They're
friends.
hilarious.
I've had friends that tried to get me into one.
I didn't try to get you into it.
I just sit there and I'm just like, because you know what's scary?
Don't lie. Have you ever?
A part of it is believable.
Yeah, but have you ever fallen for at least one? Come on.
What would you say fallen for means? Like, actually got into it and tried to do? No, I've gotten very close, but I didn't.
Paid a single dollar towards it.
I don't think I have. No, I don't think so.
Oh, you better than me, brother.
Dang.
I think they got me 3 times. I think the same one got me twice, actually. I'm not sure, but dude, like, sometimes they be just coming at you like all your insecurities. Are you afraid of the next 10 years? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yes. Oh, well, listen. I've got you like freedom? I'm like, yeah, I love freedom. you like boats? I'm like, I don't like boats really, but I don't mind having a boat. What do you think about flying first class? I ain't never fly first class, And they're like, and they say all these weird things like that makes sense, but have nothing to do with how you actually get there. Right. So they'll tell you the perks of making it.
Right.
And then they'll throw in like the fake methodology, right? Yeah. Like, don't you wish to help your parents? Don't you wish to be able to, have like some security in case your car breaks down?
Me too. And then they make themselves very relatable. Yeah, me too. And this is what I was going through that too. And now look, I'm doing fine. And
Yeah. They're like, look, this was me and my kids. And we were living in one single bedroom, and look at us now. And it's just a photo in another room. It's just like, this still looks like the same spot, but I guess congratulations. Yeah. Like, it's just like they get you, and they have like coffee with you, dude. They come at you like really weird. Like, I was at Target one day. He's like, "Yo, nice jacket." I'm like, "Either this is a pyramid scheme."
Oh, you told me this story.
Did I?
Yes.
It just randomly just came. Hey, so I like that jacket, man. Where'd you get it? I'm like, online, and he goes, "Okay, well, do you normally shop online?" Like, what kind of question is that? Like, everybody shops online. He goes, so where exactly did you get it on? Like, what website? And I'm like, okay, this website. And he goes, yeah, I got this jacket. But I don't care where you got your damn jacket from. Leave me alone, brother. I'm out here waiting, waiting for somebody. I think I was waiting for my wife to finish shopping or something. But like, I'm just like, why am I talking to this dude? And I just knew he was one of those guys. But this is after I got like caught 4 times, with pyramid schemes. Yeah. So I knew that nobody comes.
He fits the persona.
Yeah, this jacket wasn't all that. Yeah. Come on, buddy.
He ain't interested in me. I would think that if I was you too.
This is how I got him. He had a nicer jacket than me. What you talking about? Nice jacket. You got a nicer one, dude. Yeah. But yeah, they come at you all sly, and they got my dad on a couple of those. But it's the thing. It's one of those things where it's like drugs. Once your homie gets addicted or he gets trapped, there ain't no saving him. He got to come out by himself. Because you try to tell him like, hey, here are all the reviews. There's no saving him, brother.
That's it, brother. He's in there.
Yeah. So
don't sell.
You got any closing remarks before we wrap up?
I have food for thought. If you were gone tomorrow.
I don't like where this is going.
Listen, brother. What would you be remembered as? And I think that's something for us to constantly think about. Like if I was to go tomorrow, what would my mom think of me? What would my dad think of me? Like what are their thoughts of what I left behind? Is it positive? Is it negative? And then the community in general, right?
Is it bad to say that I don't mind if I'm not remembered? The only reason I'd want to be remembered, not remembered. I just don't want to be remembered for something bad, but that's not for my sake. That's for my kids' sake, if I have kids, or my family's sake. I don't want them to be like, oh, that's the guy who did XYZ. So I would rather die with dignity, but only to preserve their reputation. But if I feel like if I passed away, yeah, I mean the idea of people, excuse me, yeah, I know the idea of like people making dua for you and wishing you well and
And you're not
giving
doing
you
it for
yourself
that
up.
reason.
Yeah,
But this is just an exercise to say, like, hey, you know what you put out, you know what you put forth. What do you think you're being perceived as? It's good, not because I want people to like me, not because you're not gonna change. Like it's more so just a exercise to say, okay, if there's gonna be negativity, meaning, oh, my wife is gonna think of me as a person who never used to listen to her. My mom is gonna think of me as a son who never really used to actually follow through or pick up my calls and da 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 da. So then I'm gonna change that. You begin to look at your relationships differently, right?
yeah.
And then you ask yourself, okay, well, how do I want them to remember me? I want my mom to remember me as someone who was there for her all the time. So then you begin to act that way. I want my wife to remember me as a person who always put her before my work. So then you begin to think about that. I want my daughter to think of me as a person who put her before my work, for example. So it's not to say, oh, now I'm doing this for them, but how do you weigh it? How do you measure it? It's just a measuring stick to say, okay, this is where I need to get better.
I should recalibrate. Yeah, but minus that, right? Minus people making dua for you, because obviously your mom, your wife, your kids would make dua for you, right?
Right. You'd hope.
You'd hope if you live a positive, what's the word?
Life.
Positive impression on them.
Yeah.
But you mentioned community and
Right.
other people. So minus people making dua, minus that may help, that will help, inshallah. I don't believe I care. I don't care for legacy. If no one ever remembers I existed, which by the way is not far fetched.
Of course.
And even from the loved ones, in 20 years, it's over, right?
Yeah,
like no one's,
subhanallah.
you don't talk about your great grandfather.
Yeah.
You never do, right?
Yeah.
So I get it, but I'm like, I've never been concerned with legacy. I just don't want a negative one based on the the people I leave behind, because I don't want them to have a difficult time. But I don't really. You can remember me and not remember you. It's fine.
Yeah, it's subhanallah. It's
I'm
all
dead. So
I mean, again, and that's how it should be. That's how we should be, right? Prophet ﷺ told us that there will be like a wali of Allah will walk past you.
you won't know.
You will not know that they even walk past you. So at the end of the day, like you said, you can, so long as you are good with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it don't matter. But usually, again, from the sunnah of the world, is they're usually connected. Like if you're treating everybody like trash in this dunya, like let's not assume that, oh, that means I'm good with Allah. Chances are you're probably going to be bankrupt on the day of judgment if you're treating all these people negatively. Does that make sense? So if they have a negative light of you, you have to ask yourself, why? Is it because they look at me as a person who constantly backbites? I constantly gossip. If that's the case, I need to rectify that.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily about legacy, but it's just about just your simple interactions and your character and your akhlaq and that aspect of it. Sammy was known, Sammy, when I think of Sammy, he used to put a smile on my face. He used to he used to ignore me. He used to think he was better than me. And if that's the case, then you're they think that I'm arrogant. Why? What did I do that made them feel that way?
There's some people, and I promise to end on this, but there are some people that regardless of maybe you have changed, they will always stick to whatever it was that you were. And it's like you got to cut your losses.
Yeah, no, of course, 100%. Definitely.
You just can't sit there worried about
but
changing their mind, right?
100%. I and that's the balance, and it's to say, try to always have someone that you can talk to not get too caught up in the weeds, right? So again, you have you have reflection, a moment of reflection, but not, what's the word, like
Despair.
obsessiveness. Don't become obsessed with trying to please people. That's not the goal. The goal is not to please people. The goal is to be the best version of yourself. You will never be able to please everyone. So you accept that fact. So long as you go into this exercise knowing that you're not going to please everyone, and that's not even the goal to begin with. The goal is to please Allah, but how you treat people also has plays a factor in that.
And I'm gonna break my promise real quick, but I do want to talk about this on the next pod. Remind me, but the idea of doing something, trying to fix something, whether it be like fixing a relationship and accepting the fact it may never work out.
Yeah.
And just the hardship of like saying you still got to do it. It's fine. So anyways, I don't want to take too much more time.
Yep.
That was season 2, episode 3. Thank you for tuning in. And yes, sir. Comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. We got Patreon, help keep the lights on. Assalamu alaikum.
All right. Slam.